Okay, it's been a while that I recorded the message, and it always goes the same by now. This is now year 4 or something like that, and every single time I make a video, the next week I'm like, yeah, I'm in the flow, I'm gonna make another one, like right away, because there's so much to talk about, and yeah, well, it never really happens, does it? So instead, I come back after like half a year, and you know, so many things have passed that I barely even know what to talk about anymore. So I've concluded from that, and I mean that's what I'm observing in the universe, is that you start talking after you're done. So that's kind of what I've resigned to now, because I sure there's a lot to talk about, and I haven't decided yet what I'll talk about today. Okay, what I'm doing at the moment. Last year, my priority was finish the demo, which I did, but I never told anyone. I just put it on Twitch, and got some, very selected user feedback. So when I actually release a finished demo, some of the worst offenders are already fixed, which I managed, and right now I could go to Steam and just click a button and release it, and I think that's why I'm doing a video right now, because I intend to do that today. So along with the video, I will start unlock the demo. There's like this frustrating review process from Steam where they, I don't know what they do even. The demo itself contains about an hour of the near the beginning of the game. I didn't have the patience to actually make the opening of the game, and in the end, I mean, it's cooler if that's in the finished game and not in the demo, I guess. So it kind of starts cold in some location, and the story goes from there a little bit. It's a bit sad because it's like basically the first area of the game, so it's very simple, simplistic, not necessarily representing what the final game will be, but then again, that will always be the problem that the demo has, and what I have is just some finished work, and you can check it out, see if you like the flow. Just don't conclude, that the whole game is gonna be simplistic like this. Although I will say, I did give it to a proper gamer, and I noticed that they got hurt a lot more and overlooked a lot more secrets than I thought they would, so maybe it's fine the way it is. Maybe, I mean I haven't talked about this yet, right? So maybe today is a good opportunity for that, but one of the reasons I'm working as an indie game dev is because I am not happy with indie video games. They exclude a lot of people. You have what's very common nowadays to mask this is to make a roguelite. Something like Hades, for example, which I played recently, and it doesn't really matter in there, does it? Because no matter how good you are and how good you perform in the game, you will die anyways. And so the people who have no experience die this fast, and someone like me dies like this, and maybe some, I don't know, speedrunner type finishes almost the whole thing on the first try or something. So it's kind of natural, and it masks the fact that the game is just too fucking hard to pick up and play, and I hate that, because even though I'm able and capable of playing a difficult game, because I have a lot of experience, I find it exhausting, and in order to get me to this stage where I actually commit to investing this work as I experience it, to bite through a really hard chunk of the game. A game should already be doing a lot of stuff before that to convince me that it's worth it. And a game like Hades, which I did finish, by the way, so it's not like I wasn't capable to, but I was just very annoyed with the game the entire time, because I would like to spend more time without brutal challenges and dying, while the game repeats the few assets that it has over and over. Okay, now I'm cheating on a particular game, but this is, more a broad problem, and I'm using this as an example because I just recently played it. It is still a good game, of course, but I'm just frustrated that no one sits down and makes a handcrafted fine-tuned single-player game loop, okay? Because even when indies do a single-player game, like let's say what's in my genre is also Hyper Light Drifter, for example, it's also pretty hard from the start, and it's... You're coming here, you little rascal. I showed you one troublemaker last time, and this time I'm gonna show you this one, who is making a lot of fuss right now. And meow 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 meow. Yes, that's you. He's actually a really cute boy, but today he's angry. I guess you can see that even. Today he is very angry, and so there will be a lot of meow meow in this video, I'm afraid. Where was I? Right, even a game like Hyper Light Drifter I think is too difficult for a casual gamer to pick it up, and I don't like that, because the games that I grew up with were all fine-tuned for children, and so they start quite easy and relaxing, and by the time the good ones at some point become very challenging and difficult experiences, but they take their time. And I don't know, I feel like the indie scene sometimes forgets that, you know, not everyone is a video game expert, and some people like to ease into the experience. And long story short, that is what I stand for. I want to have a nice loop. You know, when you start my game, what's supposed to be interesting is the story, and it's supposed to have a nice atmosphere, a pleasing soundtrack, and, you know, and just gradually, you know, introduce the difficult things. But for a 1 hour demo, of course, it creates the problem that what I give you is not representative of, I don't know, hour 10 of the game, where things are already picking up and probably gonna be quite difficult. So yeah, that's something I wanted to get out of the way as far as the demo is concerned. Other things. This here, the demo has pretty much been done, and while, you know, I always develop like a dungeon here, room there, and stuff, but mostly I've been busy with business development, which is a very interesting situation to be in, you know, because publishers have been reaching out to me, who saw my work on somewhere on social media or something, and then you have to put down the details, and suddenly the questions are like, yeah, okay, so if you don't want to do it by yourself for 10 years, what do you need? How many resources? How much money? And suddenly you have to, you know, like make plans and you know, have answers for these questions, and that actually takes a lot of work. So I actually had to do a lot of legal research, tax research, all this kind of stuff, and that you know, like presentations, and you know, suddenly I was very busy with anything but getting more of the game done. But as a side thing, I also need to start thinking about how I can possibly, for example, onboard people who help me more with the game. And so I have created some documentation for my project, and that's gonna be perfect for some YouTube content eventually. So that stuff has been keeping me busy basically, and only now I can start to look at working on the game itself again. But I'm making great progress. I mean, I still have this 6-chapter structure, and after when I started the project, I basically worked on chapter 2, so all of that is somewhat in place. Just needs to be finished, which is a lot of work. I mean, let's not undersell that, but the point is, for the last 2 years I've been building chapter 1, because I realized I need something that I can release, and that is going pretty well. I mean, the scope of chapter 1 has been increased multiple times, to my surprise, and that's mostly for pacing reasons, and it's been a godsend in some ways. For many, like gameplay wise, I had space where I could introduce features that I couldn't before, and also for the story I can introduce certain aspects that I didn't think I would have the space for this early, and that's cool, because it makes the game more interesting faster. Okay, you know, and then gives like more insight into what this game is going to be about. Because, well, yeah, I have prepared a nice documentation, and I will talk about that in more detail in the future. But the point being, chapter 1, as it's grown, is I mean, approaching completion, let's say, at least content-wise. The engine itself works great. I mean, you can check that out in the demo. That was the interesting thing about the demo. All the things that I had to finish, but now they're finished, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, now I will see what, you know, how things are going with the potential publisher, or if it doesn't continue, I will just continue by myself, and keep making content. I still consider, you know, releasing small slices. Maybe that's a route that I will take. I will have to see. But there's a lot of ways that I can go from here on. But I mean, for now I'm just waiting and working on, you know, more things for the game, which is fun. I have to say that the engine is in place now, and I can just build content. And I don't know, it's still, everything writes itself. I don't know what's going on. It's just, I barely even have to think about it. We were so far away still, even though I have, let's say, 20 hours of content mostly mapped out and halfly built. I'm still far away from the point where it's like, okay, but what am I gonna fill in there now? It's just there's also something that is near completion is the script, which is cool because it's a really cool story, and I'm super excited to finally get to tell that. And you know, and you know, that's where I'm at right now. I will probably make more videos. I'm not gonna say that anymore. I mean, it's not happening. But actually, you know, if I work with the publisher, I have reserved a certain budget for that kind of stuff, and I could do it more regularly. Then it's honestly, as with everything that I do, I can do it. I just, how do I get the time? I know how to do the videos, it's just a lot of work. I know how to develop everything, it's just a lot of work. You know, that's the problem. You spread yourself so thin. And it pains me that I cannot make more videos, because there are so many interesting discoveries, little things that I would love to talk about. But I will one day. Just later, I guess. And until then, I don't think I will actually make these videos blow up, but I'm still making them, because then at some point someone can go back and look at what things were like before. But I will say I'm very happy with how the demo turned out, with how everything is going. I still have absolutely no idea when this thing is going to be finished. I have a project plan for if I get a publisher. But other than that, if I do it myself, I'm just gonna take forever. I don't know. That's why I probably have to release like smaller parts. I'm thinking right now of taking chapter 1 and chapter 2 and bunching them together and releasing that. That's like a 20-hour game all by itself. Even though, you know, we don't even get to the really cool parts in that, but it's also, I mean, it contains a lot of cool ideas anyways. Anyway, here we are. Things are going great, I would say. I couldn't imagine working on anything else right now. I love every moment. I love every task of the, you know, from making icons to usability stuff to developing the UI to making levels to coming up with characters to writing story. There's like, and all of it is fun and fulfilling, and that's what this exercise is all about. Yeah, that's it pretty much. I think I'll wrap it up with that. I might slip in a video where I take one of my presentations and you know, talk a little bit about that stuff. Maybe. We will see. Anyways, until then, see you in half a year, I guess.